Element lists within Core include a filter drop-down at the top of the pane. This allows you to select a defined filter which will show only the elements that meet certain criteria. For example, only the functional requirements, or only the open concerns, so that you can quickly focus on the elements of interest. Notice how the element list background turns green to indicate a filter is in use. This visual reminder is helpful to alert you to the use of a filter in case you leave it in use for an extended period of time. If you'd like to see the filter criteria, this is easily viewable from the Edit Filter dialog. Click Data, Edit Filter. A quick look shows me that this filter shows elements whose type attribute is set to functional. Let's take a moment to break down the options available in this dialog. The Stored Filters section allows me to select a filter, save one, or delete one. These radio buttons allow you to select the kind of filter you want to use. Quick filters are defined in this dialog. Selecting Advanced Filters changes the dialog to a script editor. Scripting is an advanced topic that is not covered in this video. To learn more about scripting, we suggest taking our 2-day Fundamentals of Core Scripting class. The lower portion of this dialog is used to define the filter criteria. The checkbox indicates that the criteria in the row will be used. It is possible to set a row, then mark it inactive. This configuration is rarely used. The second field specifies the type of the filter. You can filter on the element name, specific attribute values, the number of targets for a given relation, or the presence of diagnostic issues, completeness, consistency, or custom errors. As you select the criteria type, the filter dialog morphs to guide you through setting the values for the desired criteria type. Let's take a look at the options. One criteria type at a time, starting with attribute. In the third field, we now have available for selection all of the defined attributes for every class. Next, we set the comparison type. Most of these options are self-explanatory. It should be noted that when using between, the results returned will be inclusive of the comparison value you set in the next field. Is empty and is nil need a little more explanation. Is nil means the value has not been set. Is empty means there are no contents. When in doubt, use is empty. Finally, sometimes I want to look for something that isn't there. Let's say that I want all requirements that have their type set to something other than functional. I already have the comparison value set to functional. I'll just add a check mark next to not. Now I click OK to run my filter. Core offers to let me save my filter. I'll skip that step for today. Note that saving is handy if you intend to use the filter regularly. I now see only requirements whose type attribute is set to something other than functional. Notice there are 3 rows for criteria in the Edit Filter dialog. Let's use those to set multiple criteria. I'd like to see only requirements that are functional or originating. I'll remove the not checkmark since I do want to see functional requirements. I'll set the second row almost like the first, changing the comparison value to originating. Finally, I need to specify how I want Core to use the multiple criteria. If I only want to return elements that meet both criteria, I would select AND. In this case, I want to return elements that meet either of the criteria, so I'll select OR. Here we see elements whose types are either functional or originating. While you can quickly see how handy these filters are when applied to an element list, They really shine when used in conjunction with our Export to Word and Export to CSV features. I'll start an Export to CSV. We'll output requirements. This is the table definition. Notice the filter option in the top right. I can quickly select the desired filter and output only elements that meet the filter criteria.